So today we're going to learn about Sarah and Estar. Both of these verbs mean the exact same thing. They both mean to be. Okay? But how do you know when to use one verb versus the other? Well, we're going to talk about that. But first, we need to know how to conjugate the verb in the present tense. And if we remember, the order is I, you, he, she, we, y'all, they. So let's go ahead and do this. Soy. I am. Eres. You are. Es. He or she is. And also, this can mean it is as well. Somos. We are. Sois. Y'all are. Son. They are. Okay? So these are your present tense conjugations that you'll want to know just flat out. Okay? The Estar conjugations are like this, and they mean the exact same thing. Estoy. I am. Estás. And pay attention to where your accent marks are. You are. Está. He or she is, and also we said that it can also mean it is as well. Okay? Then we have estamos, we are. Estáis, with an accent mark. Y'all are. And están, they are. Okay? So these are your present tense conjugations. You will definitely want to be able to know those. So now, how do you tell the difference between the two? Well, the easiest way is to use two acronyms. This is how I learned it. Doctor. Okay, the next one. Place. Doctor always goes with Sarah, and place always goes with Estar. Okay? So now we're going to talk about what do each of these letters stand for. D. Description. A description of someone would be like they're a brunette, or they're blonde, or they're tall. The O stands for occupation. Their job. They're a teacher, they're a lawyer, they're an engineer, they're a student. Yes, a student does count as your occupation. C. Characteristic. Characteristic. There really isn't too much of a difference between description and characteristic, but I guess a characteristic could be, maybe like your personality, like you're funny. Okay? T stands for time. And then the other O stands for origin, which just means where you're from originally. And the R is relationship. Okay, so if you wanted to say she is my friend, that would be an example of a relationship. Now for place and Estar, the P stands for position. And what we mean by position is, let's say that this eraser is next to the blackboard. That would be its position. Okay? Location is similar. If you wanted to ask someone, where is the bathroom? You would use Estar for location. The A stands for action. Well, how do we know whether or not something is an action or not? Typically, we'll see it in usually one way. It's usually a verb that has the ing on the end, the ing. Okay? So, in Spanish, how do we tell whether a verb has the ing on it? It's going to end in either ando or yendo. These two forms correspond to the ing in English. Okay? The C stands for condition. Like being sick, that would be your condition, or maybe injured, something like that. And then the E stands for emotion. Emotion would be like whether you're happy, whether you're sad, something like that. Okay? So now, let's just look at a few examples. And I think things will come a little bit clearer to you. Okay. So let's look at a few examples in English, and then we'll decide which category they go in. Number 1. I am sick. Number 2. You are in Madrid. Number 3. He is from Madrid. We are happy. As in what you're feeling. we are happy people. That's just the type of people we are. Okay, let's look at a few of these examples to figure out which category they belong in. This will tell us whether or not we use Sarah or Estar. So if you're sick, what we just talked about with place and doctor, being sick is a condition. Well, the C in place stands for condition. So, therefore, we are going to use Estar. And how do we need to conjugate it? Well, we know if the subject of the sentence is I, that we need to conjugate Estar for estoy, which just means I am. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do another one. You are in Madrid. Some people get this one confused. They say, oh, it's origin. But it's not origin. It's not necessarily where you're from. It's where you are. And that is location. And location is in the word place. That is what the L stands for. So we're going to use Estar again. But how are we going to conjugate Estar for you are? Well, the subject to means you, so we conjugate it estás, which just means you are. Okay? Then we would finish out the rest of the sentence and then say in Madrid. But we don't have to do that right now. The point is so you get Sarah and Estar. Okay? So for 3, he is from Madrid. That's the main idea. He's from Madrid. So we're talking about origin, which is doctor. Origin. Doctor. Ser. Therefore, how do we conjugate ser for he is? Well, it's es. Es. That can mean he is, she is, or it is as well. Okay? So for 4, we are happy. In terms of talking about how you're feeling, that is an emotion, which is place. So, emotion. Place. We need to use estar, right? Okay? And then how do we conjugate Estar for we are? Well, go back to your notes. And it is estamos. Okay, great. But we're happy people. Being a happy person is different than what maybe you're feeling. It's the type of person you are. It's a characteristic. Okay? So, if we're happy people, we're going to conjugate ser, because we're talking about a characteristic of who we are. Okay? So how do we conjugate ser for we are? Go back to your notes, and that is somos. Okay? And then we would add in the word happy, from Madrid, sick, those types of things. Once we do that, then we figure out more vocabulary. But that's Sarah and Estar in a nutshell.